Hey everybody. So before I leave for real this time, let me tell you about this professor of mine. Child, just don't make no sense. For those who don't know, I am doing my health informatics through Grand Canyon. I'll be done next year. Woo, hopefully in April, May. Out in Arizona. That's where my graduation is. So if y'all in the area and you want to link up while I'm out there, let me know. But so my professor that I have now, she's my health information security professor. Oh my gosh! So the first paper, so we're in week 4 now, but the first paper that I did, she marked me so low. I ended up getting a C on the paper. She then said she wanted to talk to me. So, because at first I had asked, hey, can I, redo the paper? She said no. So I said, okay. So I moved on from that. So why when I reached out to her earlier this week to, see if I could maybe touch bases with her between Tuesday and Wednesday before it was due, she made a comment like, I got a full-time job. So my days are, most days I'm available, is what she said. So I said, okay, what did that have to do with me asking you what your availability time is? And I feel like some professors, they don't be thinking when they write stuff. So now she done made me have to go text her. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna just give you a brief synopsis of what I said and to get her together. I said, listen, I have a full-time and part-time, matter of fact, multiple jobs. I care for both parents. I am also a full-time student because I have 2 classes, not just one, in the master's program, only because I'm on a time crunch to try to get into PA school, so I don't have time to waste with classes and schedules. So if you say I'm going to be done at this time, okay, how can we get done by this time frame? I was like so livid by that. I ended up just being like, you know what, it's okay. I can't even make it. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I said, I guess I'll just give me a tutor. And I left it at that. I worked on my paper all day. Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday morning. I didn't go to sleep until 3 o'clock. Our time, it was like 12 o'clock in Arizona time. Had just turned 12. The paper was due on Wednesday at 11:59 their time. I was like, you know what? If you mark this paper down, then I know that you have an issue with me, because the next assignment that I got, she was like, good job. And, then she came back, trying to, like, butter it up by saying, well, if that was you who texted me and this and that, I think it would be best that we talk and discuss this paper. No, ma'am, we don't need to talk anymore. I'm sure you've probably Googled me. I'm sure you probably, done read comments from the other professors who've had me and probably said she's a really great student. She always get her stuff in on time, which I do. But for the last couple of weeks, since I was sick with my asthma, I was kind of late on some assignments, but I made sure that I always met the deadline for the professors, and I always kept communication and what was going on. Now, I could tell you a whole lot of other stuff that's happening right now in my life, but I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna just give you this brief synopsis and move on. So I did. I said, okay, fine. I read that paper so many times. I looked at it 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I, took some stuff out, put some stuff in, added some stuff, took some stuff out. I was like, if the paper is not good and it's not on your level, so be it. I put an introduction in there. I put a conclusion in there. I made sure that the topics was in line with what you were asking for the paper. I even had about 4 to 5 resources for my reference page. So I was like, I'm done. Like, what professor is going to tell their student they work full time? Like, nobody else is working full time. Like, nobody else is doing nothing. I said, yeah, it's a couple students who might not be working. They might have got laid off. They might be doing a job change. They might be doing anything right now. Nobody knows their situation. But don't come at me because you talking about you got another job to go to. Baby, I do too. But I still make sure your stuff is in. I make sure that I participate. I make sure that I do everything that I need to do to fulfill your requirements for your class. I don't try to miss a beat on the discussion board. I try to answer the questions if I possibly can. But after this week, I was over the discussion boards. I even told my other professor, I was like, I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm lacking in your class. I was like, the other class is a little bit challenging. But I said, I'm going to get your stuff in as soon as I possibly can. I said, if I don't get it into you by Thursday, I'm going to do my best to get it to you by Friday. Still, I'm working. I'm doing everything that I can possibly do to make sure that I do what I need to do. But I was so livid with it. I was like when I say the first week of class, I had a C in her class. She had my paper at like a 60-something%. I had never scored a 60-something since I've been in this program, and it's been a year this month. I have not had nothing lower than like a 80-something. And even if I had something that was like that, even the professor would be like, I know you can do better. I'm going to give you extended time to go back and redo the paper. Because I know that this paper is good. And I was like, the other professor, I kid you not, he was like, A. Like, I got a full percent in his class. Like, a whole 100% in his class. A solid A. Like, it ain't no 99 point nothing. It's a solid A, 100%. Every paper I have turned into his class have been a freaking A. He has not graded me down by no means. And I was like, wow, okay. I said, I'm confused. Like, I go from this professor, everything is super positive, to this professor with a whole negative attitude. Okay, do you not want to be a teacher? Then why are you working? Why? Why are you causing problems with your students? If they trying to get help or they reaching out to you, now you got a whole negative attitude. For what? Baby, listen, we pay you to be our teachers. And whatever the state and federal decide to give to y'all. But in the meantime, we make sure that y'all have a job. We register every year, every semester, quarter, whatever, to allow you to have some kind of peace of mind so you can live, comfortable. We ain't got to go to school if we don't want to. We don't have to get no masters. We don't have to get no PhDs. We don't have to do none of that. We don't have to do no certificates. People can be entrepreneurs if they want to. They ain't got to have no degree. Some of them ain't even graduated high school. And then those that didn't graduate high school went back and got their high school diploma because they give you opportunities for adult education now. So you can go get your high school diploma whatever time and age you want to do so. They got them right online. All you got to do is register and make the next step and the move to do so and get you a high school diploma so you don't have to do a GRE if you don't want to, or a a GED. I'm sorry, a GED if you don't want to. I'm thinking about the GRE from, having to do master's programs. When you are going to graduate school, you have to do a GRE. So my apologies. That was a mistake. It should be a GED. But, what I'm saying? Like, you have the opportunity to do all of that. You have the opportunity to go to college if you want to. You have an opportunity to get a certification if you want to. Nobody stops you from doing whatever you want to do if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, then you're not going to do it. Like, it's just, what? Like, you're not going to do something that you don't want to do. If you don't never work a day in your life, that's because you choose not to. If you, decide that tomorrow I don't want this job, you decided that. That's your decision. Nobody can make your decision. Nobody can give your final choice but you. Same way with some people. They get in situations sometimes worse than others. And yeah, you have to have some empathy for people because sometimes people don't always know. But if people are reaching out to you and trying to help you and you still want to ignore that and you still want to do what you want to do and then you still get in the gym, well, whose fault is that? It's yours, right? It ain't nobody else's fault but yours, because they didn't make you do nothing. They didn't hold nothing up against you or tell you, hey, forcing you to do something that you don't want to do. They can't make you do something that you don't want to do. But I was so like to the left with that professor that I was like, you the second professor who tried to jump off at me like that. Because when I started the program, I had just started doing my statistics class. Now, mind you, I had just took statistics in the summer, couple summers ago, 2020, like right after my surgery, to keep me occupied because I was in pain so many days and so many hours. It didn't make sense. I was in and out of the hospital. And I, said I got to do something to try to get my mind off of being ill or sick or can't do for myself. So I was like, let me, try to knock this class out because I failed it in 2018. I was taking it at a community college out there at OCC, one of their campuses. And so I failed it. I had a tutor and everything. I failed horribly. Second time around, I worked hard. I made sure to get the homework in. I participated. And so, like, my grade point average was so high for the class because of homework and participation and, other little assignments that she was giving us, that she ended up giving us an option to take the final exam or take the final exam if we wanted to, if our grades allowed. My grade was like at an A, so I was like, I want to opt out of the finals. I have an A. Have a good Merry Christmas, New Year, all of that. I was smiling ear to ear. Now, mind you, taking graduate statistics is way different than undergrad or a community level type statistics. Still the same material, but it's a little more challenging because you don't have as much help, and there was no tutor offered. How the school does it is they want you to do phone calls to try to have tutoring, or your professor wants to call you and try to tutor you on the phone call. I have to see stuff, so you having a phone call with me to tell me how to do a problem is not gonna help me. And not once did any of my professors ever mention about they would do a video call or do Google, where you can video call your professors, or a Zoom call. Like, it was never nothing like that. It was always, you can text me, call me, and I, try to help you. So I came to the conclusion after I had looked for a tutor, and they said, well, we don't have a tutor for your class, but we have a tutor for like the undergrad level. So the tutor, ended up backing out. So then they have this other program called Thinking Storm, which is an online tutoring service that the school gives you about 10 hours, and they help you with, homework, stuff like that. So at first I'm like, okay, I can probably do that. But then my schedule was so hectic and busy. And like I said, I take care of my parents along with I work and, trying to fit life in. So I was having some technical difficulty with some of the material, trying to understand how or why I had gotten it wrong. So the professor all like, he can like tell me how or, explain, the problems I got wrong. He was like, well, if it's a specific area or a topic that you want to discuss, we can do that. So, it just got to the point where it just felt like, like the professor didn't have time to like help for real. So I had to get into him too. Like, listen, I'm asking for help, but if you don't want to help, don't worry. I will figure it out. That's pretty much what I said. I'll figure it out. And sure enough, I ended up meeting a nice student that was in the class with me. We've been studying since we had some classes together since the program started, or for me. And I kid you not, he helped me get out the class with a B. He passed the class with an A. we both passed the class and we was on to the next class, and I was like, thank you, God, thank you, because it was a challenge, and I still had to get a tutor to help me fix my, Excel project thing, make sure the calculations was correct, and it was so much going on that I was just like, thank God that I did my statistics when I did it, because I don't think I would have the mindset right now to do it. Like, I'm glad I knocked it out in those first 5 classes that were separate, because I had to take classes separately. And this is my second set of classes that are, 2 classes together. And then now we'll go back to single classes for the last 2 classes, because my practicum is 16 weeks long. And the last class, they said that you can't take with the practicum due to so much that you have to do with the practicum. So I'm like, that's fine. If I have 1 class, I'm cool with that. But now they done messed my schedule up again, child. They got my schedule looking later, and I sent the email to the counselor, haven't heard back from her. Like, I thought my class started October the 19th. Now you talking about it start November the 2nd, and now you saying that it won't finish until like January sometime. Like, no. I would like my 3 weeks for December to be off, just like every kid, student, college, whatever. I would like that same break. I would like my 3 weeks, and that's it. Like, I would like to have that. I don't want to have no 2 weeks in between, no weeks in between. I want what I want. So I'm going to wait patiently for her. I'm going to give her until Monday. Then if she don't respond, of course, I'm about to send her an email. Like, I'm still not in agreement with this, because you already told me that the class was starting on the 19th of October. Now you trying to change it up and say, oh, no, well, you'll have to do it later. No. And I don't even know who at the school allow these people to, like, change people's schedules. And look, we just got in freaking September. And we halfway through September. Now you telling me I can't have my class in the next 4-5 weeks? Actually, in 4 weeks. Actually it's gonna be 3 weeks, because this is my I want to say 5th week in that class. So it's 3 weeks, and now you're telling me I can't take this class on October the 19th. No, y'all gonna fix that class and that schedule. I don't care. Like, you about to change it back. I don't care what you talking about. You changing it back, okay? Because first you had me in 3 classes. And then I, had to put my thinking cap on, because apparently the counselor missed it. And I said, well, don't it make sense since you already got 1 class starting a week before I start that 1 class, the 2 classes that you saying start later in the month of August, can't you drop me out of one of those classes and push it to the next start? So then I did that. Everything was on schedule. So I would still have my break in December. No, it's like, no, you're not going to have no break, and you're going to have to work through the holiday. I'm not doing that. And I'm in the process of trying to get my mom birthday thing together, because I would like to do something nice for her. But I'm just like, these classes is starting to irritate my soul, child. It's irritating my soul. My motivation is getting real low. The jobs is making my motivation level get low. Okay, like, I have a bachelor's. I gotta go back to school to get a master's just to make some more money. But back then, after I got my bachelor's, I still wasn't making no money. I was making like $10 an hour after I had graduated from the university. Some people was probably making more than that. That means I was only doing like 20-some thousand a year. I was considered still under the poverty line. Now I'm halfway, about to be out close to 40, and I'm just now hitting 40,000 something. So what, I gotta wait another 20 years before I can hit 60, 70? Baby, listen, I don't know what we doing out here in this world to make it happen. But that's not gonna be one of them. I should at least be close to like 80 some thousand by now. Let alone, I shouldn't have to work. I shouldn't even have to work this hard to even get a decent job that pays. And, but at the same time, like, yes, I love helping people, but I also need to make a living to survive. And I can't make a living if I can't survive. You can't help nobody if you can't survive your own self. You know what I'm saying? Like that just but I had to come back out here. I was like, I just thought about that and I said, you know what, I forgot to talk about this professor. Like, what? Don't do that to people. Just don't do it. Cause you know what? You don't know. You never know what another student or person is going through. Professor or not professor. You really don't know what they be going through. You don't. I don't. I don't know what my professor is going through, but I do know that she worked more than just being a teacher. But it's a lot of them that work more than just being a teacher and they don't have the attitude. And I feel like if you have an attitude in the field and work that you are doing, then why are you doing it? Oh, because it's making you some money. It's keeping your livelihood going. Baby, if you miserable in a job, don't make other people miserable because you miserable. If you miserable, make them changes for yourself and do better. Make sure that you got a job lined up, that you done researched and made sure that this is a good fit for me and what I would like to do moving forward if the other job is not working out for you. But don't come to work with attitude, got everything on your chest and all on your shoulders, and you bring it to work and you want to snap on people. Every once in a while you might snap on somebody because you having a bad day, but all the time, every day out of 365 days and days that you on vacation, you still snapping at people even though you're not working. No, you need to leave. You do. You need to go ahead, let it go. But that's all I gotta say. Y'all have a good day. I'm done with my little shenanigans. Be nice and kind to everybody and stop trying to live somebody else's life for real, bro. Like, stop doing that. Stop trying to live somebody else's life or fantasy world. Make it make sense to you. Because if it don't make sense, then what you doing? Till next time, ciao.